All right, hello again everyone. This is Julie Legg with Julie Legg Photography, and this is the third installment of the fall jean jacket tutorial. And I call it a tutorial. I'm not really a teacher. I'm not very good at that, but I do want to share with you some of the knowledge I have with Photoshop and Lightroom and just some of my workflow and my creative process. Maybe it will inspire you or help you. So, we left off on this picture at this point, and one of the things that I wanted to finish doing here was to take away, to remove some of these disease looking spots. So I'm making sure I'm on that layer. I'm in with the stamp tool, and that's going to be at 100%. And this guy I don't like at all because it just looks kind of diseased to me. And it's okay to have some, what do you call, some grunge to it, but I'm just really picky about how much there is. And some of my art I sell. There is a company that licenses my artwork, and so I'm always keeping in mind, is this something I would want to hang in my home? And that kind of guides what I decide to leave in or take out. So I'm just using the spot tool and using it at different sizes. I'm at 100%. You don't have to be so perfect with this since it is a leaf. It's not, nature's not perfect. I don't mind having a few little holes in that leaf. A little bit of grunge here and there is a good thing. Okay. Try this little guy. And there we go. So what I want to do next is to sharpen these leaves. And there's a few of these spots that wouldn't come out because of the layer that I'm on. It has a mask on it, and I'm not, to tell you the truth, exactly sure why, but I know what the fix is when I'm in that situation, and that is to create a new layer that's a culmination of all of these layers, and they call it a stamp layer. And you go Shift, Option, Command E, and voila, there's a new layer, and I can go in and remove these little guys that are being stubborn. Yes, I can. So that's looking all right. I think I'm happy with that because I'm going to take these leaves in right now and I'm going to sharpen them, and any detail I have is going to be sharpened and enhanced, and I don't want to sharpen diseased looking leaves. I just don't. But some of these are okay, so I'm going to leave that. And what I want to do next is go into Filter, and I'm a fan of Topaz. They have all kinds of different programs here, and Detail is the one I'm going to use today. And most of the time when I go into Topaz Detail, or many of their programs, I just use the collections that they already have available, and so I don't need to go in and do a whole lot of playing with these sliders over here on the right. That gets a little more complicated. Sometimes I do when I have time, but now it automatically loads up whatever filter you used the first time, the last time you were in it. So I'm going to hit original, and you can drag your cursor over to the left panel and it will give you a little bit of a preview of what it's going to look like, but it's kind of hard to see. So I'm going to go with strong, and then you hit the space bar on and off and you can see what it does. And what I like to do is go ahead and select that overall detail strong, and it's going to apply the detail to the entire photograph, but I am going to create a black mask by hitting option and going to the mask, and you see it embeds all of the topaz detail in the black mask, and so I can paint in detail exactly where I want it, because I don't want the detail all over my entire picture. So I'm going to enlarge it a little bit, and when I'm doing, like when I was doing the spotting earlier, the retouching with the stamp tool, I will use my mouse because in any, when there are situations when I need a steady hand, I use my mouse. When I'm in a situation where I can be more free, I'll use my tablet with the pen. It's like a pen that you hold in your hand, and you just paint in. I'm going to enlarge my cursor. I'm on the brush, and I need to switch over to a white brush because I'm on a black mask. White reveals, black conceals. I'm going to start at 60% and just paint in where I want the sharpness to be on these leaves. And you see how it's bringing in the sharpening. I want to keep the edges of the leaves. I'm not going to paint those, just kind of in the central part where the veins are. And I want this button to be sharp. And some of the edging, I think I can't remember if I mentioned once before, but edging will draw your eye to it, and that is one way to kind of direct the viewer's eye to the areas that you are saying are important. And I really like the play between softness and sharpness. And so I'm going to paint this red leaf and be careful of the areas that I want to keep soft, the ones I want to be sharp. See, that's so nice, defining that shadow in there. Edging. Love it. And I can even make sure these stems are sharp. Just go in there and find the edges that I want to define, so I can get that play that I like. And then I'm going to go down to, let's say, 40%, and I'm going to work even on some of these areas, some of these edges in here, just to add some more interest. But very subtle, very subtle. just kind of going in and out of sharpness. Fun, fun. I like that. Play, play, play. It's fun to play. Let's take it back and then turn on and off, and see, it does make a difference. Powerful, subtle, yet powerful, I think. Okay, so that's the detail, and I might name that layer detail. I'm just going to name that layer retouch. That's the leaves that I did. And next, it's time to put in some texture. And one of my favorite persons who produces, she used to do textures, Kim Klassen. She doesn't do as many now. She's kind of moved on to her Lightroom presets, but I don't think you can buy any of these textures anymore. She had a big sale and I think she took them down. But I went and I got a whole bunch, and so these are a few of them. And this one here is one that I created myself. It was a piece of fabric I found in a fabric store. It was like a transparent piece of organza that had these little swirlies on it. So I don't think I'm going to use that one. I am going to use this one. Let's see what this does for me. And yeah, nope, that one. Command A, Command C, and then Command V. That's how I put my textures in. There's a bazillion ways to do that, and you can go research that if you want, but this is how I'm doing it today, and let's see how this works. Alright, and then after you put your texture over it, I'm going to try soft light. See what that does. It doesn't really show the texture at all. Overlay, yikes. Hard light, yikes. And one of the other good ones is multiply. You can see over here, you see some of it, and it adds some grunge to it. I'm not sure I want that. See what color burn does. Color linear burn. You can see some of it on the edges here. Let's see if I pull down the opacity. And you can see some of it in there. Just a little slight grunginess. So I'm going to stop, keep it right there. I may not use that one. Let's see what else I had. That one. Let's look at the Cracker Jack, see what happens with that one. I like that. I thought I selected it. Command A, Command C. Command V. Command T. And just, I don't really want that white area to be there, so this looks good. And let's see what multiply does. Ooh, that's kind of fun. What does overlay? No. Soft light. That's kind of nice. Keeps the softness going. And there's still some texture there, but it's not in enough places. I don't think that works. Hard light, if we take it way down, not really. Forget, did I like multiply? Not really. Oh, it was one of the burns. Linear burn. Well, that's not too bad. That's kind of nice. Looks like it's an old jean jacket. It looks like the cracks are in the jean jacket. Kind of cool. Okay, that's at 27%. What would happen? I would like some of it to show up in there. Let's see, I may have to, yeah, have to keep it at 45 so I have lots of it in the background, but I don't want as much in here, so I can just create a mask and take a brush, and I'm going to put this at 50% on black and just take it down a little. Don't scream at me, please. Maybe go down to 30 down here. There, that way I can just touch it up exactly how much I want it to show. And I don't know that I want a whole lot of it to be on top of my leaves. So I might go in close. And just, I think it just looks more like if I leave it on the leaves, then it looks like, oh, she put a texture on everything. And when you take it out of the leaves, it's just kind of, to me, blends in everything a little better. If you understand what I mean. Okay. Off. And it is good to look at your photograph closer in. I'm at 50% right here, and you can see that the cracks really show up. Whereas when I was back out, you couldn't see them as well. And so you want to zoom in and look at what things really look like, because if you were to print this out right now like this, you might think, oh, I didn't know that many cracks were showing. So I'm going to make a bigger brush and make these a little more subtle as well. But the whole reason I left it, I put them on this dark, was because I wanted them to show against that light background. But not so much in these areas. And I may end up putting text in this area, so I don't want it to be in conflict with all this crackleature. And so you need to think ahead about what are we possibly going to be using this for, and make it so it will work. So I think I'm going to go with that. That's cool. That's subtle. Okay, and I'm going to save that. Hit saved, Command S. I'm going to try, and I'm going to get rid actually of this layer. I just don't think I like that texture at all. And I'm on the top layer, and I'm going to experiment with my fabric circle. Command A, Command C, Command V, and Command T. And let's see what happens when we put my little squigglies on. Squigglies are happy. I like happy squigglies. Okay. And what blend mode shall I use? Soft light? Ooh, it's kind of pretty, isn't it? Kind of pretty. Now, one thing I'm going to try, Command T, is I'm going to turn this around because I would like perhaps more squigglies in the background. Maybe not as much there, and it looks like there's more, they're more crowded in on this side. So if you hold the Shift key and then turn it, then you can get it back on completely square. Alright, I think I like that. And let's play with the opacity because it's really screaming at me. Squiggles right now. I might have to do the same thing as the other one, is keep these squiggles fairly dark so they show. I don't know if I have more squiggles in there or not. Let's move this up. So let's go back to the way it was. Back and forth. There's a few more up there. I may end up cropping over here, so this area here is probably the most important. So I might just leave it where I had it. Okay, and let's play with the opacity. You know what I might do is make a black mask, and then I can paint it in exactly as I want it with a, let's say, a 80% opacity, and paint it on the background like so. Let's just make it 100%. Go over it again. 80 plus 80 is painting it in at 100%. And then you can look at your mask here. I see a little place that might have been missed, so let's go over that. It looks completely white. And then I'm going to go into, let's say, a 40% brush and just paint it onto my jacket. And I'm keeping my mouse button pressed down. I'm not lifting and pressing again, and that will keep it wherever I put it at that 40%. And I'm just not going over the leaves. I kind of like that. And black conceals, and I'm taking it off right there. I see some on that leaf. Or I could just have a little bit on the leaves. Let's go to 10%. Make my brush a little bigger. What if we just, no, let's put a little of it on there. Doesn't seem to be showing. Black conceal. I know I need to be on white, that's why. Black conceals, white reveals. Am I right? I get confused. Don't recall. Well, on the mask, that, oh, I see a little bit of it there. That's okay. I'm just going to leave it like that. Cool. I like to make it kind of small and see how it looks. You know, my eye is drawn to this area right here, but I'm going to darken down the background probably when I'm in Lightroom. I'm not going to worry about it now. And there's one more texture that I would like to put on, and it is the Scratched Magic. Command A, Command C. I love scratches. Command V, Command T. I just like scratches on my art. Has kind of a, I don't know, a nostalgic little kid feel. And I don't like these designs right there, so I'm going to just stretch it over that. Return. Oh, I've got one down here I don't want. There we go. And on the black textures, they're designed to be used in the screen mode. So it just shows the scratches. Very cool. And I'm going to pull the opacity down. Let's go to 60% and let's enlarge it and see what it looks like at 50%. Not too bad. I think it kind of reminds me of a windy day. It kind of looks like the wind blowing through to my artistic mind, which goes with fall and leaves. Fall leaves are always blowing around. And I'm going to put a mask on here, and I want to take out some of it that's covering up this button. I like my buttons. I want them to show a little better. I might go back to this mask and see if I can take out some of that squirrely on top of it. And up here where I might have some text, I am going to pull this, take this out a little. And maybe this is kind of strong in here. Dial that down a little because it's, you know, white going over that shadow. I want your eye to go toward the leaves. I like that. It's got a nice softness to it. I might play around with the contrast and stuff in Lightroom. But for now, I think that's looking pretty good. I like that. Might go to this and just kind of play around with this squiggly here. Just lighten it up a bit. Yeah. Kind of, it's going in, it's going out. It's here, it's there. I like that. All right. All right, so I'm going to hit save. Very happy with this. I like the whole concept. And I'm going to go back into Lightroom and play with it some more. I don't know if I'll stop here and make that a fourth tutorial, but for now, I'm done with this. Thanks a lot for dropping by and watching my little tutorial. Have a great day.